This is Sean with Silo Car Stories, and I'm speaking with Jake Smith, and we're going to talk about your Audi RS4, and it's a 2007. Jake, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. How are you today?
Good. So I interviewed your father. He
Mhm.
he had a couple of different rides. One, a family truck that was essentially from the Quaker plant back in the day that the family took over, and then the other one. Why don't you describe the other one for us?
Yeah, so the other one there was the was my father's '69 Oldsmobile 442. That one's that's that bright red. It's convertible. It's got a 455 4-speed. I know we've had that one in the family for, oh man, I don't even know. Since I think like 2007. I think somewhere around there. And I know that my dad and I always have a close relationship with cars, and that's a big and that car kind of represents that.
All right, so here's your 2007 Audi RS4, and why don't you give me a little bit of the backstory about how you found it and any modifications you've done to it? We'll be able to show some pictures of the engine and interior, but just kind of give the backstory to it and what you've done to improve it.
Yeah, yeah, of course. So this is a car when I was growing up that I had always dreamed about. Growing up, we were a huge Volkswagen family primarily. My dad actually had two Volkswagen Passat W8s, and for those who don't know, that's basically the W8. They put two W8 engines together, and that's how they created that W16 Bugatti Veyron engine. They just basically put those two together. Um, and this car is kind of an evolution of that. This is got a 4.2 liter V8 here, naturally aspirated. It basically was made to compete against like the BMW M3, the Mercedes C63 AMG. This is a little bit lesser known than those probably here in the States. They only made uh, they only brought about 2,000 of them over to the United States, so you're very unlikely to actually see them. But yeah, I'd always wanted one of these. They sound fantastic. For modifications that I've done to it, I've tried to keep it somewhat stock as much as possible. I did put on a new test pipe and a non-resonated catback exhaust. I thought that was something that Audi did not do so well on. It sounded great from factory, but I just wanted it to, put the volume up to 11 here a little bit. But otherwise, since we've had the car, when I bought it back in 2013, mainly it's just been preserving it and kind of bringing it back from what it was. The guy before me who owned it, one of the first owner, he lived in Chicago and he worked in Iowa City. So this car actually spent a lot of time driving back and forth between Chicago and Iowa City. So there were a lot of highway chips, and it had a little bit of Chicago city car type damage, and so we've been slowly bringing that back to a pretty good condition here.
All right, so here's a shot of the engine. It looks very unique. If you could kind of just describe the engine itself and horsepower and just a little bit about the details of it.
Yeah, of course. So this is a pretty famous engine. This engine actually dates back to the first gen Audi S8 that was made in the late 90s. So this is naturally aspirated, 4.2 liter. It produced from factory back in 2007, 420 horsepower. With the modifications I made, we haven't been able to dyno it or anything, but they're probably people who put the exhaust on and all that. They're probably thinking somewhere in the 430, maybe 440 range, because it's also got an ECU tune from Jackal Motorsports. Um, but yeah, this engine actually was so successful in this RS4 that they then put this into the first gen Audi R8. And the only difference between the two engines literally was the oil pan. They took this engine design, literally took it out of this car because it was so successful, and put it in that first gen R8. Because the first gen R8 had both that V8 and the V10. And yeah, I mean, it's a really great engine.
And as far as the interior, it looks like obviously it's all leather. Is there anything custom about the seats for racing or whatnot?
So Audi at the time, they used, like most companies at the time and still today, the seats were made by Recaro. These are the US spec seats. The European ones are actually like Porsche buckets. Unfortunately, we didn't get those in the United States. We only got these. Still made by Recaro, all leather. It's a 6-speed manual. Yep. The red line goes actually is 8250, so 8,250 is red line on this car. So it's a pretty high revving engine as well. Yep, it's got real carbon fiber for the inserts on the doors, on the dash, and near the shift knob there. Pretty normal.
All right, so where's some of the favorite places you've been able to show it off at car shows, or any favorite trips you've taken it on to be able to showcase it with great backgrounds?
So some of my favorite places, actually, there was a really great trip we took. I started here in Indy, and I actually drove it up to Road America up in Wisconsin there to go do an IMSA event up there. And there was a big Audi Club event that was going on there at that time. That was just a fantastic drive. It was a lot of fun. Right when you get up to close to Road America up there, it's just some really great roads. I know I have dreams to go take it to, the Rockies, but I haven't been able to get that done yet. But that's hopefully going to be able to do that here soon. There was also a good trip that I did down at Brown County with the the Indiana Audi chapter, and that was a lot of fun as well. I was being able to follow a brand new 2020 R8, which was a lot of fun.
All right. Well, that's great. Is there anything else you'd like to say about the ride itself before we close this one out?
Yeah, there's not a lot. I know a lot of people don't know that car even exists, or just, think it's an A4 there. It is so much more. The Audi really kind of threw the book at this one. That car has brakes from a Lamborghini Gallardo. It has the suspension components. A lot of them are even from a Lamborghini Gallardo as well. And a lot of people just never know what they are. But that's why I'm kind of doing this here, because it's just a very unique vehicle. There aren't many of them that were ever made. Like I said, there's only 2,000 of them here that really came to the States.
Well, it is a beautiful car, and I'm jealous of essentially all of the modifications and everything that you've been able to implement on it. It is a beautiful ride, and hopefully I'll be able to see you sometime at Silo downtown. We're actually going to be doing Al Unser Jr.'s 60th birthday there. We've been interviewing people in the race industry about them, and that'll be on the 19th of April. But Jake, I really appreciate your time, and just stay on the line, but I'm going to close this one out.
All right. Awesome. Thank you so much.
You got it.